Hey, security peeps. We are live with another edition of Breaking Into Cybersecurity. I am Renee Small, cybersecurity super recruiter. Excited to be here with you again today, demystifying cybersecurity careers and also helping amazing leaders find great talent. I am here with two wonderful people today. It is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We're doing lives every single day of October. So, Chris Foulon, first and foremost, my brother from another mother. Say what's up to the people.
Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day.
And we have Alfonce Mutuku here with us today. Say hi to everybody, Alfonce.
Hey, how are you doing? Thank you guys for inviting me. I'm really honored to be here. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here. We are super excited to have you here. So Alfonce, a little bit of intro for Alfonce. Alfonce came to us through this organization called Per Scholas. And Per Scholas, and I know Alfonce will talk to us about it, but Per Scholas is kind of like a bridge. They help people with certifications. They get people set up into internship opportunities and, their first role into security. Alfonce, 24, or 25, sorry, 25 years old, undergrad in 2017, right? Then went and got his certifications. Mm-hmm. And Alfonce, I want you to start out with telling me what's really, really, we had this little pre-conversation. It's really fascinating how you got into security right now and where you are today as a security engineer. But talk to us about what made you go, well, talk to us about what Per Scholas is and how you found out about it and what made you kind of like take the path of going to Per Scholas before you started looking at like certifications.
Okay. Yeah. Just a little bit about myself. I grew up in the DC area, Prince George's County, went to high school, DeMath Catholic. And then I went to college in Pennsylvania, Lycoming College. Got my major in criminal justice and minor in computer science. Graduated in 2017. And how I got interested in cybersecurity is because, I always, when I was younger, used to watch a lot of crime shows, NCIS, Law and Order, Criminal Minds. And I always wanted to stop, bad guys. But during my sophomore year, I recognized, or I realized rather, that I didn't want to, go down the law enforcement route or, detective route or be out there in the field. So I took an interest in computer-based crimes and I started reading into it. I started watching documentaries about cyber attacks that happened in the last decade. So that's where I just started getting an interest for this field. And, right after I graduated, I had difficulties trying to find jobs, just like any young graduate right out of school would have, right? So what I did was, through a family friend, I was able to find out about Per Scholas, which is a nonprofit that provides tuition-free technology training to people who are interested in getting into tech. So basically what happened was my bad, sorry, I had Alexa on. Basically after that, I was able to learn about Per Scholas, and that just opened the door for me right away into technology for the first part, and then cybersecurity. So when I was at Per Scholas, working in a classroom, going through just my basic fundamentals, really, learning about networking, routers, switches, ports, protocols, routing protocols, all the fundamental things that you need in IT to understand how communications happen throughout an enterprise and in a network. And then learning more about the security side. So once you've learned how everything talks to each other, it's more of trying to figure out at that point, how do you secure all that infrastructure? So the Per Scholas program is about 3 months. And within that time frame, I was able to get the Network Plus and Security Plus certifications. So those are CompTIA. Those are globally recognized certifications, entry level, that help you get into cybersecurity and would give you a solid foundation to do so. So that's how I learned about Per Scholas, and that's just a little bit about the program that I was in, which put me on a platform to be in the position that I am today.
Wow, that's amazing. Within your 3-month program, did they have like hands-on activities, or was it mainly focused on trying to pass the cert?
Yeah, so basically what they did was everything was, focused on trying to pass the certification, but at the same time they gave us hands-on, training. So they gave us routers, firewalls, switches, right? Told us to go into the routers, see what the configuration is like. This is how you configure security on your router, on your switch. This is how you set up the rules on the firewall, right, to allow and deny traffic to certain systems. So we were able to get all of that kind of hands-on training. That way, when you left the program, you'd be able to kind of speak to some of the things that a lot of these professionals are doing within the tech field or cybersecurity space.
And Alfonso, is it all day for the 3 months? Is it 40 hours a week? How does that work?
Yeah. So this is all day, 9 to 4, 9 to 5. So it's pretty much like a full-time job. And it's something that you're gonna have to sacrifice. Me at the time, I was right out of school, so I didn't have a whole lot going on at the time. But I know other people who were with me in the program, with families and jobs and all that. If it's something that you're willing to partake in, you have to make a little bit of a sacrifice depending on your situation, right? But Per Scholas, since I've been in it, has grown a lot. I know now they're expanded to multiple more states than when I started. I think there was only they were available in only like maybe 4 or 5 regions in the United States. Now it's in a plethora of them. So yeah, depending on your situation and how you're trying to break into technology or cybersecurity, this could be a program potentially that could change your life.
And remind me again, is it paid or is it a free program, or is it do you have to pay a stipend? Is there?
So this is free, completely free. You go in, you apply. If you're selected for the next steps, you take an aptitude test just to test your capability, right? Like a standard SAT exam format type of. And then after that, you do your interview with the personnel within that facility that you're applying to. And then if you get accepted to the course that you want to engage in, that's the first step. Those are the entry steps for you to move into that program.
I want to shout out some people before we move forward because they are always here. Our friends to the show. Ben, hey, good morning, Ben. He says, good morning, everybody. Ozzy is back. Hi, y'all. She was here on Sunday telling her story. And she joked around that Alexa wants to be part of this conversation. Where Alexa chimed in. Macklin says, nice one, man. Danielle, hey, Danielle. She says, good morning. Ozzy again wants to know what the name of the program is, and it's called Per Scholas, PERSCHOLAS, and I will put a link in the chat. Per Scholas. David here says, lucky number 13, Kyle, but you should get on this show. Great job, Renee Small. Thank you, David. Okay, he is lucky number 13 today. So, Alfonso, you get into Per Scholas. You took 3 months. So it's pretty much like a full-time job for 40 hours a week over the course of 3 months. You're learning everything that you need to learn to pass the Security Plus and the Network Plus. Are they training you on anything else? Are they giving you tips on how to interview, or are they bringing companies in? How did you get into your first role?
Getting to my first role was a combination of me searching for jobs. I had someone at Per Scholas actively engaged with me, trying to help me find a job. And then, just me updating and putting my resume out there on the appropriate platforms so that recruiters could contact me. So I always had 3 kind of people, or options as far as looking for jobs throughout that time after I had finished the Per Scholas program. But also, in addition to that, at Per Scholas, they did once a week, they did a career development course where they brought in individuals who are, established in, let's say, for example, resume tips or how to create a better LinkedIn profile, for example. Those types of things just put you out there and enable you to engage with professionals within this field of IT or cybersecurity. so that your outreach is better, so that your job opportunities or strategies when you're looking for positions may be more effective than what regular candidates are doing.
Wow, that sounds like a great, well-rounded program.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you happen to know what the aptitude, when you apply, do you happen to know the criteria of what they look for in applicants, other than the aptitude tests, from that perspective? Do you happen to know? If not, it's okay.
Criteria, I mean, anybody can apply, really. I think, they want people who are highly motivated, for one, because, just to be in tech, I've noticed the people who usually, are very, very successful are just super motivated. Even when they break into the industry, it's like they don't take their gas off the pedal, right? They don't take their foot off the pedal. So, just people who are hungry and, are looking for, opportunity to kind of improve their lives. This program, I think, at least a lot of the people that I was in the program with are coming from different industries. And that's something that even now that I'm in cybersecurity, I've noticed a lot of the people, even I might be currently working with or worked with in the past, have come from different industries. They haven't even come from IT backgrounds themselves. So it was just eye-opening to me to see, a lot of people just switching over, doing the career change from, accounting or psychology or whatever to cybersecurity.
And what the people that you've been your colleagues, actually, because you said many of them are your colleagues, right? They are coming in from these various industries, and I know they have different backgrounds, and they're non-IT. Can you share some of just like one or two of the other backgrounds that they're coming from, like what kind of jobs they had prior to, coming into security?
A person that I worked with before, he came from law enforcement. So he was a police officer, switched over to cybersecurity. So, right when I, get new employees around me, or, when I start up at a new spot, I like to just engage with people, just see what their story is about. So I've heard about, law enforcement officers doing that. I've heard people who are in the psychology field or doing like clinical work, moving into cybersecurity, accounting as well. So a couple of people that I know who were doing accounting before, and then they transitioned to cybersecurity. So there's multiple routes in which you can break into this industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we've been saying the whole time.
Yeah.
There's different skills from different industries that you can utilize to transition in.
Yep.
So Danielle says interview tips would be appreciated. I have an interview this Friday. Danielle, I think I may have a surprise for you on Thursday. Ozzy says, is the program remote or in person?
So right now, because of the pandemic, I know someone who's in it. She's doing it remote full time because of the current situation, of course. But usually it would be on site at their location, depending on what state you're applying in. So
cool. And David Gibson says, all gas, no brakes. We know that from the security people here. Okay, cool.
When it comes to, now that you've broken in, what are some of the tips that you have for individuals trying to keep up with the rapid change? What do you do yourself?
To keep up with, sorry, can you repeat that?
With the rapid change in the industry, new technologies, things changing every day, how do you keep up yourself?
So one of the things that my mentor told me, I searched out for mentors early on. I needed someone who was, if you're looking to do anything, the best thing to do is just find someone who's already doing it. You don't need to kind of reinvent the script or reinvent the wheel or anything. So I found a mentor. He told me one thing was, if you want to be in this industry, you got to keep on learning. You got to keep on developing yourself. So just using different things, like I listen to a lot of podcasts about security. Paul's Security Weekly is one that I listen to a lot. I listen to CyberWire daily as well. So those things, right before I even go into work, I listen to that because it's just something that, allows me to go into work, and then I can have discussions about what's happening in the industry or what are the latest threats that are taking place, so that I can share that across the security team when I'm at my office or, remote now. So the podcast listening, I do a lot of reading about recent breaches or security attacks that have happened recently. So I do that. Darknet Diaries is a good resource as well. So just, just going online and just using the internet as my support system to help me stay on top of the current technologies or new threats that are emerging.
Nice. All the top hits that we've learned throughout the years and keep reinforcing. You just brought them all back up. I love it.
Yes, exactly. So another question around mentors. You brought up mentors. You said early on, you knew to go after and find mentors and find people who were doing what you want to do. Who taught you about mentorship and looking for mentors, or how did you find out to do this so early on? And then what are some of the types of mentors that you have? Are they all technology? Are they in different fields or different industries? I'm curious about that.
So I don't think, I wouldn't say anybody taught me how to do it. I think I've just been aggressive from the start. So I just knew from the jump, like if I want to, do anything and be successful at it, I got to network and communicate with people. So that's just something that I took on myself to just put myself out there. So before the pandemic, like, when I was looking for opportunities or, looking for people to engage with who are already in this industry, I would go to all these tech conferences. So in the DC area, there's a lot of tech conferences that go on, Ignite, and meetups, in relation to cybersecurity and whatnot. And I would just show up to these, in the hope that, I'm going to meet somebody working at IBM or Amazon or, just meet anybody in the field and just, put a name to the face, put a name to the resume, put a face to the resume, just go up there, introduce myself, tell them who I am, what I'm doing, the direction that I'm trying to go in, and just build a relationship and some rapport with that individual and just look for guidance that way. Another thing that I did was just, I found mentors who are from my country of origin too. So, there's already a direct relationship there if I'm working with somebody who's from where I'm from. So, just seeking out those kind of individuals, high performing individuals, people who are in the industry. Going to these conferences was great because I was not only learning, but I was seeing and, meeting people who are already established in this industry, connecting with them on LinkedIn, staying in touch, and, just asking them for tips on, how did you get to where you're at in your life, in your career. So just being aggressive with it, I think, was the most important thing that helped me.
You're just so wise.
I know, you remind me of my younger self already.
So wise. I just knew, because most people, I have to say, we talk about mentorship and most people are looking for mentors. A lot of people in the industry look for mentors and are trying to find mentors, and you immediately out the gates knew that this is the fastest path. Like, this is a shortcut. So you found mentors. I know you had told me before you're from Kenya and you came here when you were in high school, right? About 10 years ago. So you were in high school and you were able to just come and develop this network already. When you were going to those conferences, a lot of them are expensive. Did you go to the expensive ones and pay for them, or did you get scholarships, or did you go to the more of the meetup types? Like, tell us what you did. How you did.
I went to the meetup ones. I went to the career fairs a lot. So those were the big ones that I went to, especially the ones for like federal government. So I met a couple cool people in the industry there. But not all of them I was going to was for free, or if I was paying, I wasn't paying like crazy amounts of money because, obviously I didn't have that kind of money at the time. So I basically just used what I had, right? So I made most of what I had, what I could afford at the time. And, to me, it was just to get myself there, because as long as I did that part, then I know the rest will take care of itself. I just need to get myself to where those people are. So
Danielle says, get multiple mentors for all aspects of life. I'm with her on
definitely,
that.
Most definitely, yeah.
And I think your point of finding mentors that have a similar background as you is definitely helpful, especially for when you're getting started, because you have that connection already. And then it allows you to develop that footing and then start to explore more with different types of mentors, like Danielle mentioned. So that's definitely very helpful.
Yeah.
Ozzy makes a good comment here. Finding mentors can be hard, but there's some of us who have learned to do things on our own and reach out only when we need help. So
that's the hard-headed ones in us. But that's one of the things that make us good is sometimes doing it the hard way means that we're curious and we're going to try really hard to find out how to break through, how to do it, how to figure out a tough problem. And that's an amazing characteristic in someone in cybersecurity.
Yeah, it's like definitely having that determination. And I know that when she was on just this past weekend, we talked about the perseverance aspect, how persevering in security is just, that was her, I think that was the final word of wisdom from Ozzy this weekend. It was, continue to persevere. So definitely a point when it comes to how we as security professionals are continuing to learn and grow in the field. She says she's hard-headed. Ozzy says hard-headed, yes. Danielle says, Pass the Torch for Women is a great mentoring resource for female mentees. So that's a good point of Danielle. Alfonce, do you have any mentees?
Yeah, so I mean, as I've been progressing in my career, I've met people who are younger than me or people who, are trying to break in to cybersecurity at the same time. So I've always tried to, lend a helping hand where I can. So just, talk about my experience, talk about, what I did, just like here I am on the podcast doing it. Yeah, so I've just been sharing my knowledge as I obtain it over the years, and it's helped a lot of people. I know a lot of people that, they're younger than me and they had a, way harder start than I did. So it's a good thing to see, and I'm very, very, talkative about cybersecurity. So, just talking about tech or how to get in is something that, if people want to reach out to me, I have no problem just sharing that information. So.
Do you hear from a lot of people like this for this month in particular? Our goal is to demystify security. Do you get a lot of people who just have zero idea what you do? Like it's one big mystery to them. People obviously outside the industry.
Yeah, it's a mystery, and I think just breaking it down as simple as I can to people, not even going to anything technical, just giving them a rough idea of why security is important for one, why privacy is important, how to, for my friends especially, I try and just like harp on things like just being safe on social media. That's just one thing that everybody should have some good hygiene around. So yeah, just breaking it down in a way that it's a lot simple for people to understand, because if you get into a lot of the technicalities, you'll just run over people's heads, right? So yeah, so just explain cybersecurity in a way that it's understandable to a 3-year-old is what I'm pretty much doing to everybody. So.
Now, how do you explain it to a 3-year-old? This is gold. How do you explain it to a little kid?
I just tell my little nephew, I mean, it's pretty much me on the front line of security. So just think of me like as a security guard for the internet or a company, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm just a security guard, and I'm just making sure that everybody who's coming in and out is, the right people. I'm not letting anybody in who's a threat or anybody that can cause damage to the place that I'm trying to secure. So just breaking it down as simple as possible.
Nice. And what about goal setting? What's your approach to that?
Goal setting? Use a number of different things. I think what I do is just I don't set goals like I set them periodically. So I say, like a company usually sets its goals every quarter. I use that same format. So I say, okay, this quarter of the year, I'm gonna maybe study this certification. or attend this conference, or I'm going to learn Python scripting. Just set it on a quarterly basis so that, I can look back at the end of the quarter and be like, did I, achieve what I wanted to achieve? So I just set short-term goals like that. I think those are just a little bit more realistic, at least for me. I know a lot of people, they do long-term, maybe that's more realistic for them. But for me, it's just short-term goals, because a lot of these certifications, now that I've been in the industry for a while, it's not very difficult for me to, it doesn't take the same amount of time for me to comprehend through information or read through books. I can run through those books in 2-3 weeks. So, setting goals quarterly for me helps. And then also just seeing my peers and what they're doing, just having conversation with my peers. What kind of goals are they setting, right? And then just kind of bouncing ideas off of them is what I do that helps me the most.
Couple comments in here. So Ozzy says here that I have someone who regards me as a mentor, but I'm afraid to call myself a mentor. It's a huge responsibility. So Ozzy, I would say that, being a mentor is a responsibility, but people look up to you. People can see you as a mentor without you feeling like, that you're their parent per se. They just look up to you as someone who they want to emulate and be like, and you've gotten to where they want to be. So it is a responsibility. Don't be overly nervous. She has a nervous emoji up there. Don't be overly nervous, but just reaching back, that's being a mentor. Anything you want to add, Chris?
Just being honest and authentic as to what you've learned along the way, what you want to share based on their particular problems. You don't have to feel like you have the answer to everything, because you're just sharing your experiences from the heart, being authentic. And that's what ultimately being a good mentor is about, is sharing your bruises so that they don't have to experience it first.
Totally agree with that. Danielle here says, don't get me started on social media, cyber safety. Mm-hmm. Danielle, yeah, I had to explain to my child that, no, those are not your friends that you're trying to connect with. He has like zillions of friends. Like, whoa, what is going on here? These are not your friends. These are not people that you know for real. I don't know who made this comment, but Per Scholas sounds like the Year Up program, which provides tremendous opportunities to young adults in underserved communities. My company is one of the sponsors of that program. Yes. And so Alfonce will talk a little bit, because it's funny how I got connected to Alfonce is one of the people who I know very well. Year Up. I love the Year Up program, and know a former Year Up director who connected me with the folks at who were the trainers and stuff at Per Scholas. And then Per Scholas referred me over to Alfonce. And Alfonce has said, and Alfonce, you could jump in and talk about this, that a lot of Year Up people end up at Per Scholas too. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I think a couple people that I've seen, I've connected with on LinkedIn, I've seen they've been in Year Up and Per Scholas, or one or the other. But yeah, a lot of the people coming out of these programs are doing very well for themselves right now. So yeah, I know of a couple people who have done both or one or the other. So yeah, definitely it's a true testament to both of those programs.
Both of the programs are amazing. I believe both programs are free. And well, we know for a fact that Per Scholas is free here. I believe Year Up is also free. I know with Year Up, you have to meet certain criteria. So I think there's a monetary eligibility, like, in terms of socioeconomic background, which is really positive, because it's giving people opportunities who likely have never even been in corporate settings at all. So Year Up is an awesome program. I had a Year Up mentee when I was in my last role at Freddie Mac. Had a wonderful young lady who was going into security. So definitely an awesome. Both are excellent programs. Danielle has a question again for Alfonce. She wants to know, do you have any long-term goals, like 5 years and looking back? Danielle, she's been on all of these, listening to us talk to Dr. Dan. Any 5-year goal, longer term goals?
I guess I would say just continue to improve myself, continue to be a master of the craft that I'm in. But long-term goals, probably, later on in my career, look towards being the CISO of one of the companies here in the United States.
Nice.
You totally
Nice.
see you doing that. You can easily see that. And then Ozzy says, she thanks Renee and Chris for our mentor-mentee feedback. So we are currently at the 30-minute mark. Alfonce, we want to, Chris, you can jump in with your final question that you usually ask since you're back.
Sure. If you had to summarize everything we talked about into one piece of advice for someone following up behind your footsteps, what would that be?
I think a lot of people, if they're trying to break into cybersecurity, it can get challenging at times. But my mom always told me, if you're going after anything worthwhile, there's always going to be some kind of hustle that you have to go through. So just taking in what she said to me, just say and applying that to my life, it's like it's not been a smooth journey. I'd say it's been something where there's a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of disappointments, a lot more disappointments than the wins that I had. So just staying with it, to the point where you see it through, because a lot of the times, if you're doing the work in the back end, God is going to come through for you. So that's all I can say. Just stay with it. Keep doing the right thing. Be as practical as you can with it. If you're studying, it's great to read books and stuff. But like one thing that I did that I don't even talk about, but one thing that I did was in my previous job where I was at, I went to the help desk, and I went to the IT guys, and these guys were throwing away all these old IT parts, routers, switches, computers, and stuff. And I knew I needed a lab environment for me to be able to get really practical with what I was doing with cyber. So I said, you know what, let me go in there and just buy all this stuff that they're going to throw away. And I took it home and I set up a lab environment. And just by me doing that, it wasn't the best thing on the planet. I didn't have too much money at the time. So I just used what I had and I built it out at home. I set up subnet with Kali Linux. I set up Splunk in there. I set up Snort, which is an intrusion detection system. And then I started doing hacking on one machine and then doing the job of the security defense engineer on the other machine, where I was seeing what I was doing on the attacking side and seeing what a defender would be looking at on the other side. So just doing that in my own home, using the resources that I had. And I got them, affordably from the help desk. So, just being practical with it helps a lot, because then when I was going to these interviews, nobody, like anybody asking me, how do you set up Splunk? How do you set up Snort? I already knew how to do it because I was doing it at home. So just being very practical with it will help you a lot, because those skills, you will never lose those skills, especially if you have an environment where you're able to do that. And one thing that I want to mention is you don't even have to buy the parts or set those things up anymore. Nowadays, they have everything online. So you can use, for example, if you want to do hacking, you can use Hack the Box, which is just an online platform. Set up your VPN, and then that's it. You can just remote into these machines, and you can go about just hacking vulnerable machines that are on that platform, right? Another one is Try Hack Me as well. So you can use that, and that's just something that if you even pay just a little small subscription fee, you'd be able to get more resources available to you to be able to challenge yourself and learn and improve your skills in hacking. So just using the internet as your resource and your support system, especially in this information age that we're in, that's going to really just put you on another level. So.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice. Love it.
Wise words from 25-year-old Alfonce. Sound like somebody's grandfather. Ozzy says, ambitious Alfonce, AA, that should be your name. And then Aaron Martinez talks about hand-me-down gear is great for learning. But Alfonce, I have to say, I am so impressed, and I know you will be a CISO faster than we know. And keep in touch and definitely keep us abreast of what you're doing, because you have already in 3 years moved into, I think, your second role now, either your second or your third opportunity.
Third role, yeah.
Third role is security engineer over at the IRS, doing some amazing things. So definitely keep in touch. And thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for having me. It's been an honor.
Absolutely. So folks, tomorrow, more guests here, surprises every day for October. It's fun. We have more. I think we have more fun than the guests do. So we will see you tomorrow, 11-ish Eastern. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye. Take care.